Thank everybody for coming out today. Since we met last, we lost a close game at Austin Peay, where we had a nice performance from Ashley McBean, a freshman post player with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Really gave us a big lift. Went on a nice run in the second half. We had a lead, we lost the lead, we got down, came back and got back where we had a chance with a couple of possessions at the end to get in the game against a good Austin Peay team on the road. But just didn't do the things necessary to win the ball game. Did a great job rebounding, just really struggled with some mental errors, turning the basketball over, and that was the difference in the game. And then come back last night against Eastern Kentucky, lost a hard-fought game at the buzzer to a team that's at the top of the league standings, or right there at 4-1 right now. But again, 12 turnovers in the first half, all unforced. We had 5 travel calls with nobody around us where we just reversing the basketball and took a step before we passed it, and things like that. You don't get those possessions back, and in a one-possession game, it really hurts you. It was an entertaining game to watch, and we struggled rebounding in that game, which was kind of inexplicable after the job we did against Austin Peay on the road. I really thought we would fare a little bit better on the backboards, got out-rebounded by 7. Defensively, held them 8 percentage points below their season average. Forced more turnovers than they had turned it over on their season average. Held them, guarded the three-point line well, which they had been shooting it well. And it just wasn't quite enough because we couldn't get the job done offensively. All right, any questions?
Talk a bit about Tennessee Tech coming up. I remember talking to their play-by-play guy last year. He thought they would be maybe the team to beat this year, and they've had some struggles this year.
Well, I tell you, they've got just about everybody back from the team that won the regular season title last year, and they're playing well right now. They've won their last 2 games. They have a transfer from UAB, Jayla Harris, who is a big-time scorer, was UAB's top scorer and one of the best players in Conference USA. Just recently became eligible. They're the same team as they were last year as far as they play extremely hard. They have struggled putting the ball in the basket as well as they did last year, and that's changed over the last 7 games since Harris became eligible. She is a talent to guard position without question. They have Takara Hayes, who's in the run, will be in the running for Player of the Year in the league. And Brittany Darling down low at about 6'4", and she's a big woman, and she changes the game with her size and strength. And we're certainly going to have our hands full. No question about that. If we play well and can eliminate, the mental errors, we should have a shot. But it's one of those things where we have to worry about ourselves and get better between now and Saturday. We've got to eliminate those simple mistakes and give ourselves as many possessions as possible.
What's the focus this week as you have a few days now to prepare for
Just eliminating mental errors, offensively and defensively. Defensively, we had a few breakdowns in assignment, not as many as we had in the Austin Peay game. It got a little bit better. With the depth issues that we have at guard now, only having 5 guards in the rotation, it's really hard to press for 40 minutes when you only have 5 guards. And what we're doing right now is we've got to pick up the pace a little bit as much as we can and keep those people healthy and out of foul trouble. But we need to just eliminate mental errors, and we'll focus on being more under control. We did a good job when we were able to press late in the game in both games this past weekend. Last night, especially against Eastern Kentucky, did a really nice job with it. And then there were a couple of possessions where we got into the half court, and you really have to transition out of that scramble mode where you're flying around, and then in the half court, you've got certain assignments that you have to maintain your integrity, gap integrity, closing out on people under control. We had a couple blow-bys that really hurt us last night.
You said last night, and you talked about you guys are just so close to getting to play a full 40 minutes. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's just, it's tough right now for some of our kids. Mentally, we've got some that, where we were playing so many people with our depth and then losing a couple of guards and a forward, and all of a sudden now you're playing 30-something minutes, and it's different. It's a different mentality to play 32 minutes than it is to play 22 and go as hard as you can go, and you don't have to worry when we were flying around like that. You don't have to worry about the mental aspect of it as much. So it's a major adjustment that we've had to work on here. And I'm pleased with the effort that they're given, but the mental focus that's required is just a different mentality. We were really forcing the issue, forcing the other team to take quick shots, and now, whereas like the blow-bys I was talking about earlier, that would have been acceptable because we were trying to get teams to play a lot faster than their normal. Now we still want to play fast, but not at the breakneck speed we were. So you got to change your mindset, and all of a sudden you got to be able to close out under control and do the fundamental defensive things that we work on in practice every day. And it just really, I recognize it's a challenge for a player. But when the bottom line is when it becomes game time, you got to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what we're working on right now and working towards. Last night we had a situation at the end of the game. We called a timeout with about 42 seconds left to set our defense. We're down one and make sure they understand what we want to do defensively and offensively. Eastern Kentucky had a post player in the game that we were kind of trying to involve in ball screens on the offensive end, and we did a great job defensively that possession. Everybody maintained their focus. We end up with force a difficult shot for Eastern Kentucky. We do a good job on the boards, get the rebound, we come down. I didn't want to call the timeout and give them a chance to take that person out of the game. We had talked about what we wanted to do and what happened after watching the film. We got the ball to Mariah the way we wanted to. We go off the screen, and the guard in the corner starts creeping up instead of staying deep in the corner and allows that help defender to come. And if that hadn't happened, Mariah easily could have turned the corner and got to the rim. But with that help defender there, she pulled it back, and we just ended up with a I'd take Kayla Lowe taking that shot. That's why I didn't call the timeout. She caught it with about 2.5 seconds left, and then they would have taken the post player out and subbed in a long athletic guard, and it would have made it difficult for us to get a shot anyway. So we let it play out, and the shot just fell a little short. And Kyra Watson was there for the rebound, so we were either a few inches short or a second short, either way you want to look at it. But the execution wasn't as bad as I thought it was live. It's a subtle mistake that was made in the corner, and just a step here and there makes a huge difference in the game. And that's something that we've got to go back and look at, and we'll watch film today and focus on eliminating those mistakes offensively. It's a mental error that is just, until you're in those situations and you're successful, it's hard to learn how to make those plays to win close games.